Good to see you.
Thank you all for joining us today. If I could, I'd like to introduce the dais at this time from your right to left. Detroit Red Wings owner Mike Ilitch, Captain Steve Yzerman, Senior Vice President Jim Devellano, and General Manager Ken Holland. We're going to open with remarks from Steve Yzerman, and then we'll have questions and answers afterwards. At this point, I'd like to turn the mic over to Captain Steve Yzerman.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for making the effort to come in today. Maybe not the optimal day to have this type of an announcement, but it wasn't something maybe planned for today, and the way it has worked out, I appreciate your effort in getting here on a holiday weekend. For me, it's a day of mixed emotions, and I know there's a lot of referees in the National Hockey League doing cartwheels today with my forthcoming announcement. But I'd like to start off first by saying I've enjoyed my career immensely here in Detroit. We've been through a lot together, the three gentlemen here with me, Mrs. I, Lisa, the rest of the Ilitch family. I was drafted in June of '83, and immediately upon being drafted, took great pride in being a part of this organization, being a part of the city, and we had talked at the time, Jimmy D and I, with some goals to have a lengthy career and to win multiple Stanley Cups. We didn't quite reach the number we had in mind. We haven't given up on that number yet and look forward to in the future possibly reaching that or being a part of this organization to further enhance the success of the organization. So today, obviously, I'm here. I've finally made up a definite decision on my future, and I feel very relieved and very comfortable to let everyone know that I've decided to retire, hang up my skates, and I feel really good about that, actually. My intention throughout the season was to retire, play one last year. My hope was we would have a successful playoff run, obviously culminating with the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, as we all know, that didn't work out, but I had an extremely enjoyable year. From the coaching staff, the players, I really enjoyed the season. It ended in disappointment, but that's the one great thing about sports in general is there's just no predicting what's gonna be the outcome. So I really enjoyed my final season here with the Red Wings. I thought about it a lot, about coming back and playing, and this was the right decision for me at this time, and I really don't have any doubt about that. Obviously there's several people, more than several. There's thousands of people that I need to thank. I would start first with the local media. Some of you have been here my entire career. Some have kind of come in and out, much like a player does. And I would just, in general, to all the media that's followed the Red Wings, I really appreciate the I don't know the right word, but the normality or just the regular people that came down here that we had to deal with on a daily basis, and I appreciated how you treated me and how you've treated our organization very fairly. So I would like to thank you all. Obviously to the fans, most importantly, that have supported the team throughout my career, before I came to Detroit, throughout my entire career and beyond now. It is a special place to play. It's a special city to live in when you're an athlete. To go on the road, to have 4 or 5, and I see Drapes is here and Murph and a few of the other guys. It's just such a calming influence and a great motivation to have the support that we have. And I've never felt it once to be a burden or the pressure of the expectations of our fans. it has been nothing but a positive and a great influence to our, motivate the players. So Red Wings fans throughout North America, not just here in Detroit and Michigan, but have supported us. They've supported me from my first game through some disappointments, and backed us and continued to show up, whether it be here at the Joe or on the road. Everyone has stuck by us, and to everyone, I really want to say thank you. It's been, I almost feel like a little boy trying to please his parents every time I step on the ice with the way the fans here support our team. And, that is, something I will miss, and had I played another 5 years, I will miss that. So, once again, to everybody out there, I on behalf of the future players and present guys, there's no place to play that you get this kind of treatment and respect and adulation and encouragement. And I don't believe I would have been able to get through some of the difficult periods, whether it be through injury or whatnot, without the support of this city and the people here. So once again, I thank you all for that. Moving forward to the hundreds of hockey players that I've played with over my career, I've really been fortunate to play against some of the greatest players in history, but also to play with some present Hall of Famers, some future Hall of Famers, and I could stand here and name over and over the great players that have gone through this organization since I've been here. I've been fortunate enough to play on 3 Stanley Cup winners, and play with some of the greatest players that will ever play the game, and play against some of them. So it's been a wonderful era of hockey for me to be a part of. My teammates, it's a very difficult thing to retire, because I sit here with Drapes, and I see Murph in the back there. Some of the things we went through, the ups and downs, the emotion that goes along with it. It just, you look back and you just form friendships and bonds that I don't know that you get in any other way. So the players again that I've played with, it's just been so much fun, and I've enjoyed my career as a hockey player. I started playing the game at the age of 5. I've been a hockey player since the age of 5. And I've had the same lifestyle. I played hockey all winter and thought about hockey all summer and got ready for another season. And school was just filling time until I got to play hockey again. So, again, to all the players that I played with and the guys that I'm leaving this year, this organization is in good shape. There's plenty of leadership. There's a lot of talent. I feel very comfortable and very proud of what we've accomplished, but I feel very good in the situation that the organization is in moving forward, and I look forward to being a part of that group. Moving on, Jimmy D, Mr. I, Mrs. I, Kenny, we're all here. We're all here when I came in '83, and we've all been a part of everything that's happened here. And again, it goes playing the sport or playing any sport. Just for me, the friendships that I've developed and will be last me a lifetime. I'm really grateful for, and I want to thank Kenny for his support, in particular in the last few years when it's been at different times for various reasons a difficult time for me. Kenny has supported me 100%, and almost had me convinced that I was coming back this year, and then I opted obviously for a different decision. But I want to thank him as well, and I've had a number of coaches, and I apologize for going on here somewhat, but as I speak, I think of more and more people that I have to acknowledge, and I've played for actually over 23 years. I didn't play for that many coaches in relation to a lot of players, and each coach I've played for has had a positive impact on my career. Some for different reasons, but I look back with my first coach being Nick Polano in 1983 to my final coach being Mike Babcock and I've learned something and enjoyed playing for them all. So as a group collectively, I appreciate their efforts and really learned a lot and benefited from everyone. And I guess finally, I see with Gordy and Ted Lindsay sitting here today. I was drafted in '83, and Jimmy D handed me a media guide, and I took that media guide home and flipped through it and read it. And I didn't necessarily memorize everything, but read the names. Immediately became excited about being a Detroit Red Wing, and the reasons for that are players like Gordy, players like Ted, Alex Delvecchio, Terry Sawchuk, Sid Abel. Much like it is in Toronto or Montreal, with the great success they've had, there are very few cities in the National Hockey League that have the history that the Detroit Red Wings have, or the following that the Detroit Red Wings have. And the reason the players like myself and Chris Draper and Brendan and Nick Lidstrom, the reason we have the following we do is because of what Ted, Gordy, and their colleagues did many, many years ago to put this franchise at a place where it deserves to be. So I guess at this time I'm thrilled that I was able to be a part of the Ilitch family and this organization to help bring it back to what these guys did with it, or what these guys accomplished throughout their career. It's been a great honor for me to be a player for the Detroit Red Wings, to play for an Original Six franchise. Every player, I would hope to have the opportunity to play in a city that supports the team, that follows their team, the way that the Red Wing fans have here. To Gordy and to all the former players that have come through here, I thank them all for such further efforts, and I greatly benefited from that. So. In closing, I look forward to a lot more free time, at least initially, with my wife Lisa and our children. They have taken a back seat for a long time to my career, to the things I wanted to accomplish, and supported me and quietly waited for when I was available. And the best thing that's ever happened in my career was my family. Despite I was a part of some successful teams. The best thing that could have ever happened in my career was my family, because that put everything in perspective and allowed me to focus a lot of attention, take it away from hockey, and allowed me to relax and come and be a better player and be more comfortable. So I had the great fortune to play for one of the greatest sports franchises in sports, and as well play for the Canadian national team in one of the greatest hockey countries in the world. So two very special organizations. I would like to thank everybody here in Detroit, Red Wing fans around the world, and Canadian hockey fans for their support of the Canadian national team, in particular, obviously, in the 2002 Olympics. So once again, I appreciate everybody's efforts coming here on a holiday weekend, and I look forward, to a future in the game of hockey with the Red Wings in some aspect. And once again, I've had a wonderful career, and I really will miss it. But thank you,
Steve.
Over the course of the last 10 weeks or 8 weeks, I guess, I thought a lot about coming back to play, and when it was actually time to make the call to Kenny to say, I want to come back and play, I really couldn't do that, and I felt, our team for the last several years, and it will be next year, is not going to be necessarily based on how we do in the regular season. We got a team, and we're kind of at a stage in our organization's in a certain position that we're expecting to do well come playoff time. And for me, I just felt like to do the things you have to do throughout the course of this summer, throughout the course of training camp and next season, the regular season, to be ready to go and be 100% and be a really effective player and a good player for this team next year. I just, because of the condition of my knee, that I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm becoming somewhat of a part-time player. I can't participate fully in practice. I was injured a lot early in the season, which in hindsight turned out to be somewhat beneficial, that down the stretch I felt a little fresher. I played a lot more towards the end of the season and really had some difficulties with my knee at that time. And so I guess the determining factor for me was that I'm not going to be able to do a lot of the things that I feel are necessary to play the role I want to play for this team next year. And it's better that it's what I want to do is not play. I want this team to find players that and address some of the needs that we all feel that we have, and I just didn't think I'd be there playing a role that I wasn't comfortable with next April. At this stage it's too difficult on my knee to be doing the things that I expect to do or want to do out there.
Steve, you outlined all the significant elements of your career. Obviously, the 3 cups perhaps rank at the top, but we may never again see a player wear the C for 20 years. Where does that rank?
No, I think over the course of my career, I've really been proud to be the captain of this team, be a part of this organization. But as I've gotten older, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. Initially, when Jacques Demers named me captain of the team, it was really special, and I really always wore the C with pride. But as I got older, playing with guys like Drapes and Shanny and Nick Lidstrom, Murph, a lot of older players, a lot of really successful players, I never felt like, this is me. I'm the leader of this team. I was just one of the players and tried to do things the right way and tried to set a good example. But I guess to answer your question directly, I'm proud that I was the captain of this team. Not for the number of years, but just proud of that some of the things we accomplished and be the captain of the team and maybe have be a part of the group that has the respect that I feel the Red Wings have and have earned throughout the course of the last couple of decades.
Steve, as a guy who, like you just said, led by example and kind of becoming more of a part-time player, how hard was that to come to that realization for you as a guy who always gives so much? Well,
I enjoyed, last year at times was, kind of difficult, but mostly it was, I can handle any situation as far as success or failure. Over the course of your career, you're going to kind of experience everything, and you realize that one or the other isn't necessarily the end of the world. But I had a lot of we talked earlier before coming out here about at the age of 41, I still went out there every night thinking, I'm going to be the best player on the ice tonight, and I've given up on that hope now. So everybody goes out there thinking I'm going to do something special, and I want to be a good player, and I want to. So I knew my role was over time was decreasing, and I was comfortable with that. What I don't want to be is out there not doing things that I want to do or playing whatever that role is. I've always felt I'll make the best of it. I'll figure it out and I'll be effective. I question my own ability to be effective anymore out there, and not necessarily throughout the course of the regular season, but really when it matters in next spring. I really when it came down to it, I really feel like when it really matters, I just don't. I mostly focus it around the condition of my knee. I'm just not going to be there and do the things that I expect of me, and that will be demanded of me by the coaching staff and by everyone that really follows our team. So, it would have been very simple, just and an easier decision to say, I'm going to come back and go out there and give it one more shot. But I really, like I said, I've given up hope of, that I'm still improving. 41, I think I've given up on improving.
Steve, over the course of the next few days and weeks, there will undoubtedly be a lot of conversation about what your greatest moment was. And I think everyone appreciated the moment when you raised the cup in '97 for the first time. But have you taken a moment yourself to try to put it in a bottle and say what your top moment was?
I don't know that I have one in particular, because obviously the three opportunities to raise the Stanley Cup stand out. Being a part of the Canada's gold medal team stands out. But there's just been a lot of experiences along the way that are right there with it, and some of them in failure. And I've enjoyed every kind of aspect of it. And now I can look back and some of the disappointments we kind of can chuckle about a little bit. But the entire experience, my whole career, has been a highlight in that I've really enjoyed playing. I've been in the age of 5. And before that, I've always wanted to be an NHL player, to play in this league. That's all I've ever wanted to do. So, winning the Stanley Cup in '97 was something that we were all dying for. It was just we had to do it, and it became somewhat of an obsession for our entire organization. So that was a great relief. But I felt the exact same way a year later, and so winning never gets old, and I don't know that it's any better from one year to the next, but there's just been, to me, a lot of unremarkable things that stand out, and I look back on and enjoy. And maybe a broader answer to that is, the highlight for me is playing with the guys that I've played with. I don't think you can ever be a part of a team in a locker room and have so much fun on a daily basis, on a yearly basis, regardless of winning or losing. How much I've enjoyed being a part of the Detroit Red Wings in the locker room. I've looked forward to coming to the rink every single day of my career.
Steve, was there ever a point in the last 6 weeks where you felt like this decision was headed in the other direction? How much of a back and forth was there? And anything you can give us about conversations you've had about your role with the organization from here?
Yeah, I see Mike smiling over there in the corner. I've had a few conversations with Kenny, with Mike Babcock, with several friends over the course of the last 8 weeks, and I kind of went back and forth on it. Not so much that I was torn about the decision. It was I really wanted to make sure I was doing exactly what I wanted to do, and didn't make a decision and look back a week later or whatnot and regret it. That's the biggest reason I took some time. But certainly when I talked to some of the players, and watch a bit of hockey, I would think, I want to come back. I want to be a part of this. And every time, I kind of made that decision, I'd wake up the next day and feel like, I want to retire. It's the right time to retire. And I can't exactly explain why. I just have this feeling that it's time for me to move on. And obviously that my health is the number one reason. But I just knew that that this was a better decision for me and the right one. And so yeah, there was times when I thought I was going to come back and play another year. And then always in the back of my mind was like, this is what I wanted to do. This is really what I should do. I think is the right decision. And hence we're sitting here today. Well, we've talked about it in generally, and not specifically. I think without speaking out of turn, we've just had a general understanding that at some point when I'm done playing, we'll sit down and figure something out. And I think that's fair to say. And maybe over the course of the summer, we'll sit down together as a group, and I think I'll express my what my short-term thoughts are and my long-term plans are, and we'll go from there. But it's just generally been understood that we'll figure something out.
Steve, can you talk about playing in one city through your entire career, something that probably won't happen very often in modern-day sports again, and also being in Detroit, being the sports fan you are, know the history of all the teams and your place with the Cobbs, the K-Lines, Isaiahs, all the great athletes we've had in Detroit, Gordy, of course, as well.
Every player you're drafted, I think it goes in every sport. Initially, when you're drafted, your first thought is, this is the team I'm going to play my entire career for. We're going to be successful. we're going to accomplish everything we want. And all my friends who I was drafted with, we all thought the same thing. We're all going, and for me, I was lucky. I really was lucky. I mean, a lot of players have had much better careers than I have, and have moved on to different organizations for whatever reason. The biggest reason I think that I was able to remain here for such a long time is the success of the organization, and the timing had a lot to do with it. And when there were certain situations where this team had to make some decisions on players, including myself, I for whatever reason, and again, just timing and a little bit of luck, that it made sense for me to still be on the team, or I was able to find a role or whatnot. So again, I attribute it to really being lucky. But to play, I play with so many players that have come and gone through different organizations, and I recognize that and appreciate the kind of the uniqueness and a lot of the good things that go with it, and being established in a community, raising your family, not having to worry about a lot of the things guys that have had to worry about bouncing around from team to team. So something I'm really grateful to the organization and the loyalty they've shown, and as I had spoken about earlier, the loyalty of the fans towards not just the organization but towards me. So again, I was very fortunate, and things worked out that way. In regards to the second part of your question, the city, I get to see Al Kaline around, Gordy and Ted are around, some of the other athletes, Joe Dumars and whatnot around. It is a great city for athletes to play in. It's a great city to spend your entire career in. People here follow the teams, appreciate the effort of the players, and again, it's just to play here my entire career. I don't know anything different. I wouldn't. There was never a time when I wanted to play anywhere else. There was a time when I thought I might play somewhere else, but there was never a time where I really ever wanted to. And it just because I truly enjoyed playing here. And Joe Louis Arena is a special place to play, with a sold-out building and the atmosphere here. And then when you go on the road with the fan base that we have on the road, it's just something unique about playing for the Red Wings. And I assume it is somewhat with the other original 6 teams. But for me, this is just, there's something special about being a Red Wing.
Steve, what would you like your legacy to be with the Red Wings and with the NHL?
It's not something I'm terribly concerned with. And I guess over the last few years been asked that question on several occasions. I did the best I could. I tried hard. I competed hard, and I like to think, looking back on it all, I tried to do what was the best thing for our team. And as I got older, you can look back, you can look at each situation and try and do the right thing, and it becomes a little bit easier. So, I think that's for other people to determine what my legacy would be. But I know that I did everything I could, and no question, there's a lot of things I would like to do over and learn from experience, but I retire without feeling like there's nothing left in the tank, I'm comfortable with that.